So I want you to see a small, what you call this video, and I will stop in middle. I want two or three people to come. What comes in your mind?
As part of an experiment to explore the human mind, we asked 22 people to solve the same riddle and recorded their responses. Feel free to participate also. Are you ready?
The riddle. A father is about to bring his son to a job interview, applying for a position at a large stockbrokers company in the city. Just as they arrive at the company's parking lot, the son's phone rings. He looks at his father, who says, "Go ahead, answer it." The caller is the trading company CEO, who says, "Good luck, son, you've got this."
So, what you
As
all
part
feel that this riddle answer will be? So, anybody wanted to write it or share it with their hands? I'll repeat the things. They are saying the father has come with the son to apply for the stockbroking company, and there the phone call comes, and they say, "Son, you will get it." That so father has done, okay, pick the phone. So how he says this? It's a perfect answer, Priya. I think so. That's perfect. Most of us, we never realize that stock company CEO can be a woman. Yeah, I'm continuing the video.
responses. Feel free to participate also. Are you ready?
The riddle. A father is about to bring his son to a job interview, applying for a position at a large stockbrokers company in the city. Just as they arrive at the company's parking lot, the son's phone rings. He looks at his father, who says, "Go ahead, answer it." The caller is the trading company CEO, who says, "Good luck, son, you've got this." The son ends the call and once again looks at his father, who is still next to him in their car. How is this possible?
He gets a call from the CEO, but it says,
"Good luck, son."
But he was next to him.
So it's not the father.
I think it was probably an audio recording of his father.
Maybe he made a demo tape.
Like he has two fathers?
This is a hard one.
Maybe it's a word joke, like it's the grandfather of the son.
No, I think his name is Son.
I don't know.
Maybe it's just like an old man, calling a younger guy son.
I have no idea.
The answer. It's his mother.
Oh, that's so stupid. Yes, of course.
I should have thought of that, yes.
The CEO is a woman.
so I'm biased. In a sense. Is this about diversity and inclusion?
That's really mind-blowing, actually.
So I always thought that I'm not very sexist. But in spite of that, I think these subconscious biases are there in everyone's mind.
How much bias I still have in terms of thinking that the CEO needs to be a man.
Yeah, I definitely was picturing a man.
They identify with males more than females these days.
Why can't women also be CEOs or doctors or, right?
When I think about a CEO or someone that's high positioned within a company, I mostly think of men.
And it's a shame, I think.
And it's so weird, because I'm a CEO, and I'm a woman.
And I want to be a CEO. Why didn't I think about that? Crap.
I believe women can absolutely be CEOs.
And that's definitely something that we should work on, especially when you're saying that so many people have been told this riddle and most people haven't gotten it.
Women make great CEOs and great leaders as well. And yet only 5% of Fortune 500 CEOs are women.
So this is what I was trying to put it across as the message, which is very loud and clear, that it's mostly, forget it as a men, even for us, we always believe that the CEOs are most of the time, or CXOs are the men. And this is not only in CXO. I'll give you the simple one conversation between our family when we were doing with my in-law side. And coincidentally, are all the first, means Anil's brothers and sisters, all of us have the first daughters. So all of them has just 21. So coincidentally, they born in the same year. So all of them are 21, and all are telling their stories about how they feel driving a car. One is in Australia, one is in India, another one is just started. So of course they started car driving last 2 to 3 years, and of course I've been also driving last 20 25 years. So the difference is they all said, Auntie, when we drive, most of the men, they try to take over, or they try to say something that you don't know how to drive. And this is not being heard in India only. I'm talking about Australia also. I'm talking about other countries where we have always seen, most of the time people try to think and say that woman is not a confident driving. And sometimes even so many times people says, and I says, no, it's not necessary. Now you can see so many women in, I have one of the customer who do go for the car rallies. But this is the mindset we all bring. So it's not only for the men, we have to change our mindset, that some jobs we used to think that it was good for the guys, now the women are doing good. And if you see, go back to yourself, we will actually doing much bigger work. Only thing is we are personally not taking so much interest in our investment. So that's the status which says that if we wanted to buy a household, we always are the best. We are making a large purchases. You can think all the jewelries you are buying, all your house flats you are buying, which is in crores and crores. You are taking the most better decisions, taking care of the checkbooks. You are taking care of the banks. You are taking very well. But why not? We are so confident the same way in investing. That is the one thing which I today I'm just trying to give you the figure fact and the real stories about my customer, me and others, to make sure that we started. And that's a very very proud feeling for me also, that last 3 years I got so many women investors. And that's the way I have done. So last year I have attended the women entrepreneurs course in IIM, to make sure that there I can start helping people and women for the independence, also that financial independence, because most of us the basic independence works from the financial part of it. These are the latest Women's Day, which are talking about how this year people are looking at gender equality, innovation, and other things. But for me, is equality first drive from our home and us, how we give it across to the people. Like I remember a lot of time people will say that okay, women really need the what you call most of the time saying that flexibility. Of course, thanks to COVID, now flexibility is becoming a norm by itself. So we should not able to give the same salaries. So I remembered from my side that when I was working in Wipro and Infosys, uh, because I had a small kid, I used to never like to go abroad for the short terms. And being in a pre-sales, most of the time going for 3 days, 5 days, and coming back, it was a very tough for me. And if in case if I personally have denied one or two going abroad, in my appraisal it will come that okay, you are 2 points negative because you didn't take the deal. So that is the one thing which I have always noticed that. And but that was my priority, okay, to stay with my family and not to go even the bigger ladder, because to go abroad, that is impacting my daughter of that I was traveling so much. So similarly, these things sometimes comes in between here and there of how to be a gender equality, and which is coming up very well, and very happy to have that nowadays. The data, next few slides you will see how things are been doing so great in India especially. So the best part, how the GDP works, is only how we do expenses and how we take care of the our income. So working women is coming quite high, and they say that by 2025 we may be 770 plus. But which is very, very good in a women's side. And you can see many women on CXOs now. It is mandatory to have all public listed company to have a woman directors. And so many new things are coming to make sure that women has come up and start doing. Being part of I am women entrepreneurs, when I go and see the alumni, it is so nice that so many startups are coming from the women's side. Women investors has also grown over the period, but still I think so we are still have a lot of gaps to work across. 55% of the country are either not investing or unaware of the investments. The reason today when I was speaking, a lot many people still believe that cash is a king. Today morning itself I came to know, they say, Rachna, we don't know, because most of the time our husband and we being staying in a joint family, we get some lump sum money to take care of a house, and from there we save to make sure on any rainy days or something when we wanted to do. So we cannot invest or put it in a bank, because then it will become everybody is aware of. So we try to save as a cash. So it may be those 55% is one of those where we are not aware of. So sometimes there's a difference between saving and investment. Why I wanted to bring that concept. Saving is you saved like how our parents, and I'm sure all of us sometimes put it in a cash in one of the purse or cupboard or something. But after 5 years also is the same. It is not growing. So when the money grows and give you the return is called investing. If you are keeping at home and saving, it's called saving. So when you are saving, you are losing the inflation. So indirectly that saving is done, but the money has not been growing. So please make sure you save. If you want, you can have some bank account yourself, which is not aware of. If for rainy times you wanted to do, please do save. 7% of women invest independently. Very, very true. Because being myself worked almost 15 years in Wipro and Infosys, almost so many women I know, they are earning quite good. But when I ask them how you actually do investment, their answers is very standard answers. So anybody wanted to tell what should be the answers if I ask any one of you how you invest? Two people have raised the hand. Sanjay, can you ask them to have it?
Sure, ma'am, I can.
Ashok Shah. Yes, Ashok, please tell me. Yes, Rachna. Yeah, please, you can unmute and speak, Ashok and Rachna. They said they learn themselves and they invest in gold or PF, PPF. So most of the time, at least when I started with it's like that only, and most of the people says that what my father told I did. So I remembered when I started in 94, my dad says, take one LIC, take the PPF, and you put it in a bank. And that's a common thing. Most of the time people will say who are working that either my father has told or my spouse has told or my CA. Very, very rarely people will say that I have done my homework enough. So I'm sure now with the chat GPT coming, Google coming, so much of WhatsApp, the awareness has come. We ourselves can do it quite a good research. So when somebody come and tell me, Rachna, I have actually missold something and all, and this is very difficult for me to digest most of the time, that when you have such a good thing called Google to search it is good or right, why we sign without even asking? So because 1 or 2 week back, one person came back and told me that, Rachna, I didn't know in night one banker came and told me to sign it. It is so good and all. I have signed it now. I don't know. After 1 month, I'm getting it. And it looks like that he has committed for 5 years of insurance for 10 lakhs. And I don't have money now. What to do? So I said, when you are signing, why the hell you didn't inform me? No, it was too late night, so I didn't want. So that's another thing I keep telling people. There is nothing wrong if you take 1 or 2 days extra to sign. Okay. There is nothing to be purchased in hurry what you don't understand. So instead of telling somebody else has not informed, because the way of communications are different, he may not be telling wrong, but he may be telling something different which you are not very clear about. So please make sure that we do invest what we understand. So you can have a father, CA, or a spouse taking your calls, but make sure that you understand what they are buying in your behalf and what they are doing. Because this, again, I'm telling you from my experience in COVID time, and when I did a wealth transfer for so many people, they were not even aware, and it took so long for us to go to their cupboards, go to their what you call laptops or the files, to find where their incomes are, because very few people in India still write the will. They don't write the will. So these are the things which we are not aware of investment, as Rachna said, Dr. Rachna said. So we will be trying to do that part of it. Most of the time, including us, are we have different goals. We try to say personal goals: support the family, travel, retire, higher studies, and save tax. These are the women's done survey by Grow, where we try to see how we should always have a goal. So most of us, even if you are working, not working, and going travel by taxi or yourself, first thing nowadays by default we get it in our mind. Okay, see in the Google map how much time it takes, which route is the closest, correct? So same thing, it's apply in our life also. So we should set up very highly what is our goals. I wanted, even I'm earning or not, but I should make sure that 10-15,000 rupees per month I should get it for my personal things. It can be what your passion is about, it may be for yourself, it can be for your shopping, it can be for your saloon, or it can be what to give a gifts to your family member or anything. You want a steady income irrespective of your earning or not earning, how you can support your families. These are the things you should set a goal and try to drive about it. These are the changing myth. Of course, COVID time has made quite a lot women coming into the investment, which is a very good percentage, where people have started working across, then moving from PF, PPF. See, previously, FDs, PF, PPF, and insurance were giving a good returns. I'm not saying they are not good. I still believe they are good, but we should do some percentage. Some percentage is always, again, this is a second concept I'm talking about. 100 minus your age should be the equity. So I'm just giving example for me. If it is 49, so you just keep it at 51% as an equity and 49 as PF, PPF, gold, real estate, insurance are the debt funds where we get the fixed return, not much of the risk part of it. So as I started with the video, we have to change our mental block on investing. We take, so I'll give you a simple example. All of us last, that's the best part of our walking group, we keep having a different discussions. And somebody told me that, okay, when I got the jewelry in my wedding, this was the rate and what is this time. And you will surprised to know that even though if I don't remove the making charge or anything, the what she has purchased around 22 years back, and now it is only 6.5% returns. So sometimes we don't realize it, that what we have it in a gold or what we have a house, that also goes down and up. But when we see in your mobile or the real estate, what you call monthly reports kind of it in Excel, oh, this fund is going down or this fund is going up, because we are viewing it. The stories you have seen many times that it comes that a lot of people make money. It's not that they have made money in a 1 or 2 days. They should made money over the period because they slept over and then they have done it. So most of the time, even I don't see my reports, because I believe neither I'm retired nor my kids have started going to the higher education, what was my goal. So I don't have to worry, the analyst team will take care of it. So have your goal. Don't be afraid for a short term loss, because in a long term you will take it. The data fact says across 30 years, 40 years, 50 years data is there. It's not that we are just talking about. Start simple, what you understand, and then go forward. So I'll just come back to this. Most of the time we are having a lot many things has been changed where I can say now single person has come quite a lot, single parents family has come, extended family, joint families are reducing. These are the facts and figures in India's which is going to grow only. So we have to be very aware and to make a stability with the peace of mind to have an happiness first itself, I can tell you, is the stability of the finance. This is what four myths I have always seen, heard. I was just thinking before this webinar how many women I may be knowing. So I think so I have around 80 to 90 women investors, and the people whom I know across will be around 1,000 women across, because I am being part of many women entrepreneurs groups. So these are the things which I have seen when I'm doing webinar and inductions. So they always want an advice. Somehow I felt it, they always say, Rachna, if something goes wrong, what will happen? And I will say, nothing will happen. What will happen? Maximum, you will say that, okay, you have lost it. Even if you take a gold and if your gold earring you lose, what happens? Nothing happens. Actually, you will say that, okay, it is lost. So, similarly, it is the mindset we have to see how we can think of for longer term versus a shorter term. You can take an advice, and you top of that you do the search yourself. That is very very important. We have to have the difference between the financial assets versus the fixed assets, or the, I can say, things which is emotionally attached. A woman by nature, we don't take either more risk, or we are very much emotion attached. So I'll give again my example. We got our first car in 2001, and that car we got it, our daughter from the hospital, and then after 4 or 5 years, Anil says we wanted to sell the car, and I said no, this is our first car, first we got from Smriti, this that and all. He said I'm okay to keep it for few more years, but after some time kabadi wala bhi nahi lega isko. So most of the time, the second things you have to realize it, whenever we are doing an investment, you have to move emotion separately. Take the investments always on a logical mind, or take a person who's you're advising, because somebody asked me why you need an advisor. So I asked them, there is actually, you don't need an advisor if you are very well versed on the financial, because if advisor full 24 by 7, he is working only on this, so he knows more knowledge. But if you are one of them, so you are saving 1% or reducing and increasing your portfolio for 1%, because that's a normal fees. So I was trying to tell them, most of the time all of us, when you get a cold cough fever pain, you always says okay, you take a dolo, or you do out of the counter that take haldi milk, you take a steam or do gargling, because you know that thing is in the control and you are able to do. When it goes 3 to 4 days not okay, you said okay, it's a time to go to the doctor. And we are the similar financial doctor. When your portfolio is little smaller, you are okay to take a risk, because any mistake will go below 1 lakh. But when your portfolio is higher, your one mistake may go in a multiple of lakhs, and somebody will say, no, I cannot take that much of risk now. I'm not saying that we 10 out of 10 we are also right. Most of the time, I can say 7 or 8 times we are right out of individual investor, where there 4 or 5 times they are right. Second thing is, whenever there is a call taken, I again it is a live example. One of our customer was working, got an ESOPs, and we said we keep giving a triggers to when to I can say sell and diversified in the different portfolio. And that person says, no, Rachna, I'm talking about international ESOP. It was 192 or $182. And this is, no, I am staying inside the company. I know it will do very good and all this stuff. We said, no, you sell. I remember it was 25% sell. This is, no, it's okay. We will wait it. I'm sure it will go up. And normally we, in after certain time of reminders, because they are the best judge, because they are working, we didn't do it. And I still remember that person came, told me at $132, can we sell now? And I was telling, why you're saying no, I feel it'll go down more. So sometimes they get attached to the emotions, where we don't get to the attachment, and they lost a lot of money. So most of the time, whenever you are doing anything, just don't attach emotions. If you feel you are getting attached in a selling or buying, or like a lot of time I said, why you have taken this? No, because I'm okay to have a networking. I never says not to have a networking, but don't buy some investment because of obligation. And that is the one thing I always say. A lot of people will say that, Rachna, where you stay, all customer only you can go at it. So I said that's another thing. If they come and ask me, I will say okay, but I have never gone to my neighbors and say that I'm doing this. I don't want somebody to have an obligation to invest. And most of the women, we do that obligation. Mere chacha the, nana the, forget it, anybody. I have LIC more than 10, 15 odd because my mother-in-law was an LIC agent. And I still remember whenever she doesn't complete the 12 in a year, she will say, okay, you take, you take, you take, you take. So we have so many. So most of the time we get into obligations investment also. So try to avoid obligation investment how much it is possible. Fourth thing is, most of the time, just have focus on real life goals like a kids educations you want, you are taking care of retirement, you want a vacation, you want to spend. Relate your money to those. Even nowadays, it's things are coming so good and you feel so happy about it. Yesterday itself, one person came that, Rachna, I wanted every month 15,000 for a charity. It can be in any different forms. It can be to the temple, to the education, to the old people. But I wanted that, and it is a very feel proud. Even though I was just making a plan, but I told him it's a great soul that monthly he is making a plan for a charity. I'm sure many more people does, but we don't do structural charity. Whenever somebody asks, we have been doing it. Everybody does in their own way how much they can. It's not saying 15K is more or less, but structural charity is a very, very nice things which is coming across, and which women normally we do quite a lot on those. More than anything else, all of us, I think so, and I also believe that state of mind is happiness. How we are happy and we make our full family happy, and that's the way it works. So I'll just have a small video for you to know what are the different goals.
For building a house, it is essential to create a perfect blueprint for the same. Similarly, for building a wealth for you and your family requires you to build a financial blueprint, also known as financial plan. Here are the 5 steps of building successful financial plan. Planning for uncertainty. First step is to protect yourself from uncertainty by buying required insurance policies to ensure that any uncertainty do not eat up your savings. Build contingency corpus. Second step is to build contingency corpus up to 6 to 9 months of your monthly expenses. This will protect your long-term investments from the contingencies like loss of job or slowdown in business. Set financial goals. Third step is to set financial goals and find out when and how much money would you require to achieve these financial goals. Create portfolio. Fourth step is to select right asset class and product to invest and to achieve your financial goals based on the time horizon and your risk appetite. Portfolio review. Fifth step is to review your portfolio periodically and do the necessary adjustments into it based on the remaining time period to achieve each goal. To create a financial plan.
So as we said, we should have a financial planning. Very, very important how you do. We will be happy to help you. Otherwise, you can do yourself, and make sure that you follow. So it is like this. We go to the gym and we will put it, okay, if you do 1 year of the payment, you will get 2 months free. And I knew that one of the gym person, and I says, isn't it is loss for you? He says, Rachna, we are never be in the loss if somebody does for the longer period. I said, why? Because they don't come. They normally come maximum for 1 month and then they don't come. So it is the same thing for financial planning also. It's good to set the goal, but the best part is happen is only when you execute or you continue. So somebody asked that why you need the financial planner. I always believe we need a financial planner not to make something, make you more disciplined to achieve your goals. And that is what we try to write it in our tagline to helping you to achieving your goals. It's your money, I'm just trying to say, which is okay. But even somebody is removing the money, I will ask, these are may impact. Please let me know why you are removing. It may be the reason because we normally keep the contingency plan, but somebody suddenly wants more money than contingency. How to take it? So we should always try to tap it. It's like a once a story came that one person has a back pain and started going to the yoga, and the yoga 6 months later his back pain went off. He says, now why I should go to the yoga teacher? Because I know all the asanas. Now I don't have to do. So after 1 month, he says, okay, I'll skip 3 days, 4 days. After 2 months, he started getting again the pain. Then fourth day, fourth month, he says, okay, I have to join back again. Then we asked that person, I'm telling the true story because it's the same yoga classes. And I asked why. He says, Rachna, when we are here, at least I was regular and they were trying to tell where my posture was wrong. So sometimes we do penny wise pound foolish also. So it is okay to pay somebody and make sure that you are on the path rightly to achieve your goals. Make sure you have a less debt. Loans should be very low. Invest how much we can. I normally tell at least you should invest 20 to 25% of your take home. These are the steps without fail. I have been telling from this and videos that try to have whatever income. If it is not an income, I'm sure as a, being a housewife you must be getting a monthly income from your husband or a parents or something, that okay, this is what you have to run the house. Calculate the expense. Budgeting is very very important. Try to make this budget concept in yours and I can say kids. I have somehow, even though my daughter is 21 and son is 15, I give them a monthly things like 1500 rupees. So I'll ask them in their what you call app where they have spent it. And more than anything else, I remember when they were very small, around 3 or 4 years old, I used to go to the, now it's online. Before we used to go to the all these malls and all. I will say, okay, I will give you only 40 bucks. You buy. It was not the money, but I want them to say that you can't get every time what you want. They should know how the money is for each, either a chips or a coke or whatever it is. So sometimes that small thing to create in their mind the budget is very important. Even still, we have once a week going for taking a delivery home for the food, lunch or dinner. I will say that this is the budget for the lunch and dinner until unless we are celebrating something which we go as a fine dine. So create a budget. It's not that we cannot afford it, but that makes us also and the family that how we are within the limits. Never go much than what you don't have. This is the new generation. When I take induction, I always try to say, they were explaining me ki I have 4 cards, one card's money I will pay from another, and all these things. It is round robin, and at end you are always on a debt. And this is the another thing I keep saying, that it's nothing wrong in the credit card is also your money. So you should make sure that you are just paying next month. So you don't have to keep falling, because even if you are not paying full, the 18% or 15% full goes quite high for the full value. Reduce your debts other than the home loan, where you get at least that I can say the some benefits on the taxations. Don't take much debt when you feel your debt is going above 40% of your net home. For example, if you have 100 rupees coming as a net home, 40 rupees only maximum you should do the EMI, not more than that. The difference between investment and expense, try to do it. Sometimes investment or earning is not in your hand, but expenses is in your hand. So reducing expense itself is increase in your investment value comes. Above all, the quality of line and peace of mind is very very important. This is my all time things. I keep saying I should be able to sleep within a 5 minutes when I lie down, because if something is in your mind, you will not able to sleep. And that quality of the life is very very important, because what we are getting a money for. If I have a money and if I'm not able to sleep, and if I have a health issue, that makes no much difference. So spend on you. Of course, there can be many more things. I may not be the right person to tell, but yes, I always believe if you work with your conscience, you will always sleep in a peace of mind. Whatever you decide, you make sure you are happy. That's very important. I cannot say good, bad, ugly, but yes, I lost my mother 2 months back, and last 2 months, I think so, I have gone for 7 funerals. And every time I go, and I think in my mind that if people are coming on my funeral, what they must be thinking. Or that's the one thing I feel very happy about myself. I told to Anil, my husband, that I'm so happy because everybody, 90% will be talking that at least she's to make everybody laugh and she laughs aloud. So I feel very happy. So you should be having some quality of yours which make you more happy. First, you have to be happy for yourself, what you have that quality, and make that other person happy, because that is going to stay for within when we are here and when we are not there. But the basic part is how you should have a peace of mind in your mind, with how people make happiness. Of course, the basic is your finance. Second is how you make other people happy, will basic make you happy. I have already spoken, most of the people have financial goals. This is the most of us does. We normally invest whatever leftover money, but we should make sure you invest first and then spend. This is a I wanted to show because most of the women prefer a low risk. I was going through the one of the session in the by SME, by the government, and they called me for the session, and when I asked them what they are looking for, and they says, no, I wanted to know very clearly, if I give you 100 rupees, when how much money you will give back. So I said, I cannot tell it if I'm putting into the mutual fund, stocks, or anything else. But this is no, I don't wanted to know anything else. So these are the options normally people have. But you have to realize that whenever you are taking a low risk options, the low risk options will sometimes post tax may not give you even the inflation also. Okay. So most of the time, all of us as a woman keep it money for long term, and a long term has never given a negative in the equity if you're keeping for 8 years, 9 years plus. So if you see the graph here, from 80 till 90, it is not even giving around 5 plus, and here it is going so high. So these are the options you can decide between what you are looking for. This video is going to show you that we as a life, as a equity, as a market have a roller coaster, but when we do averaging in a long term, it always give a good returns.
Investing in equity market is just like riding a roller coaster. In roller coaster, after going through so many scary ups and downs, we finally get the amazing experience of fun, joy and happiness. During these speedy ups and downs, we might get scared, but we did not jump out of it even though we feel the fear. Being seated is the safest option till the time we end up with our ride. Similarly, we can create a great wealth from the equity market only after passing through lots of ups and downs. Equity markets can correct due to many reasons, and feeling of fear is natural during such market corrections. In spite of fear, it is always advisable to stay invested for a long term. During 2003 to 2007, Sensex faced many corrections before it went up from 3,390 from 1st January 2003 to 20,286 on 31st December 2007. During such corrections, whoever does not let the fear overpower the logic of long-term investing can create a great amount of wealth. Invest your hard-earned money in equity market through mutual funds for long term.
I'll take this thing what I have just now told. What are the different low risk funds? This is the another things which I wanted to tell. If you're working, make sure that post tax and post inflation should be greater than zero. Otherwise, we are not making money. So simply, I can tell like now FDs. If we are at 6% and you are at 33%, 30% tax, you are just getting at 4.2, where the inflation is around 6%. So most of the people now, at least last 1-2 years, people have been aware that FD, corporate FDs, which are giving high, in case that they become non-performing asset like an NPA, you will get only 5 lakhs back from RBI. Okay, so it's not that there is no risk. there is also a low risk. So that's why they call as a low risk product. It's not no risk. The only place which is no risk is a government bonds. And nowadays government bonds are doing good. In case if you're looking for long term, government bonds are the best to buy now. Otherwise, I think so sooner or later they will be reducing the rates. It is around 7.8 to 8% we are getting a good government bonds.
If you want to go around the earth and start with 100 meters on the first day and double the distance every day, how long do you think it will take? 1 year? 10 years? Let's find out. Within 19 days, you would have covered 39,321 kilometers, while the equatorial circumference of Earth is about 40,075 kilometers. You would have traveled around the world in less than 20 days. But what if you stop after 10 days? You would have hardly covered a little less than 77 kilometers. This is the power of compounding. Power of compounding can help you to create a great wealth as well. How to leverage the power of compounding for maximum benefit? Start early and invest regularly. Nisha invests rupees 5,000 every month since the age of 25, while Nilesh invests rupees 7,000 every month since the age of 35. By the age of 60, both would have invested 21 lakh rupees. Assuming a return of 12%, Nisha will accumulate 2.75 crore rupees, while Nilesh will get only 1.19 crore rupees, which is 59% lesser than Nisha's wealth. This is why starting early is important. To create a wealth, start.
So these are the investment choices, what I divide into fixed returns and non-fixed. The reason I said non-fixed is when you sell, then you will know what is the returns coming. So it can be market driven or it can be non-fixed. So whenever there is a fixed return, for example, if you go to the bank, you will say that, okay, today's rate is 6.8 for 365 days or 5 years or whatever. Same thing with the GPO. If you go the post office schemes, PF, PPF, they will declare in advance what are the returns you are expecting. So these are low risk returns. So we have to understand again, this is the third concept you have to understand. The low risk returns are linked to most of the time the government bonds with the underlying. So if the government bond yield is coming approximately 6.5, so all those things will be coming approximately the same line. So whenever somebody is coming to India to do investment, they will just ask only one thing is, what is your government bond yield? So that is the concept behind, because underlying funds for a fixed returns are most of the time are government bonds. Bond market is much, much bigger. The maximum money required is done by the government, not anybody else. So these are the things which is underlying on that part of it. Talking about the non-fixed, which is market linked maybe. So other than real estate, it's more on the market linked, I'm saying, but these are when you, even real estate, you have purchased it, when you sell it, then only you will know how much money you have made it. So equity can be purchased. Equity, I mean more of stock based. You can buy through direct stocks, you can do the mutual funds, you can buy PMS, you can buy, nowadays it's a very new things happening, and the trend is called the non-listed stock or a startup kind of stock or VC fund kind of it. Quite a lot of coming. Be careful, it is a good trend. It's nice to talk that today morning itself somebody told me, Rachna, I'm in a Mumbai Angels, I'm in a Bangalore a VC fund also. I wanted to invest 7 companies, and he is telling that also, that I know nowadays the ratio is 1 is to 100, but I still wanted to do 7. So I said, okay, as long as you know the risk, but I will not recommend it because I'm also not a person who takes a lot of investment risk. But yes, that's another trends are happening on international funds versus the VC fund kind of it. Be careful when you are looking forward. Gold, you can have physical, you will have sovereign gold, you have ETFs. Commodities is another way where you can buy commodities, copper, red jeera, and anything. Real estate and ULIPs. These are linked to your any. So whenever you're linking to the market, make sure you invest minimum for 7 years. The reason is the market cycle is 7 to 8 years on an average. So it will give you the good averaging, and then you will be able to take care of whichever cycle you have joined. If it is a bear or bull, you will get the good returns. So just to think about it, 1992, it is Harshad Mehta scam, the market was tanked. 2000, you will say that Y2K, it has gone down again. 2008 is Lehman Brothers financial things, again 8 years. 2018, 19, instead of 19, it is 2020, COVID, again it went down. So if you see that market cycles are normally 8 years, 9 years of perspective. So make sure you go non-equity, sorry, non-fixed, which is equity driven only for the long term. This is the method I always tell to all the people, and especially to the women. It's called CEO method, and CEO method is cut cost, earn more money, and optimize the spending. Very, very important. Think about it. Most of the time, if we are not able to earn more, it is always we have in our hand is an expenses. How to reduce the expenses, how we can earn more money nowadays. I feel very happy nowadays. It's not necessary the traditional way you have to do. You can write blogging, you can do a lot of people I know. People, you must have heard, from home cooking, then having a pickles, making the things smaller, doing handmade, quite a lot as a housewife, and all of us as a woman can earn more. Optimize your spending. So a lot of time people says that, okay, when the things are sale you buy, and I said no, I don't see sale, and I'm not a one person who do, by the way, a lot of shoppings. But if I have to buy a shoes, for example, then I'll see in the around the time where I feel it is the highest sale it will be for the buying the shoes. So you what you wanted to buy, and then you go and optimize it. So it depends on how you're getting the all the deals and other things, and making sure that you optimize it. This is another thing I wanted to tell, because a lot of people are getting stressed because they're taken a loan. So you should make sure, as I told you, you should be below 40% of your things. Going above 40%, the smallest decision also will have a lot of issues. So please don't compromise on your peace of mind. Don't go above 40% of any time in a loans. These are the low risk options for women. Most of the time they go, as I told you, think about a small short term, long term. If it is a short term, you can easily put it in FDs, RDs, or SBs, because that's the most comfortable for all of you. But if you are looking for a long, bonds are the best. Now rates are good. Please take care if you want a bonds. Mutual fund otherwise is the another way to take care of a debt funds. If you're looking for, of course, I am not putting into the equity side. Of course, they are good for SIP, which I always believe I'm doing for last 26 years, and I can tell you it is amazing. It results comes. The another things, of course, this budget has made a lot of buzz on a guaranteed payout plan, which is going very good. It's giving around 6.8% return tax free. So if you are in a 30% tax bracket, it is always good, because nobody, the another way of wealth management is that you lock the interest rate for the longest term, where it is post tax, post returns, and the post inflation is greater than zero. So these are doing the things around 6.8 tax free. So 35 years, nobody knows, because when we are developed country, if you see, we will be going back to 2 or 3% returns. That's another things which is happening very good as of today if you are looking for. What I'll just go fast 5 slides, which what you should do after this statement of this webinar. If you are a young and single woman, make sure you do the tax planning, know what is good old regime versus new regime, set your short, mid, and long term, because you are just started, you may have different kind of goals. Don't invest in the lock-in funds, because you may require most of the time. Invest minimum 25% of home. Don't go into the debt trap. That's the one thing I have noticed for the young people. A lot of they do. Write the expense and income on a regular basis. So 5 things for a single bread winner person. Make sure that you take a good life cover, because most of the time it is going to impact the family. And if you have a debt, 100% the debt amount should be taken by that good life cover. Contingency plans for 6 months for the household. If you're spending 50,000, 3 lakhs should be in your FDs, kind of it. Invest minimum 25% of your take home. Take a good health cover. Most of the people don't know nowadays new health cover has come where you can take a base of 5 lakhs and top up of 45 lakhs, which is top up plans will give you even 2000, 3000, and which is equivalent to 45 to 50 lakhs. Take a good health cover with your top ups. 5 things to ensure your family is secure where both of you are working or your husband is earning. Good life cover to earning member in the same proportionate. Have a minimum 10 lakhs cover including corporate and yourself. Make sure your all the loans are being taken care either by a asset or the insurance. For example, your loan is, yesterday I found one of the customer came to me 6.5 crore loan, and he didn't have the insurance other than the office, which is 1.5 crore. I said, first thing you do it because you are the only son earning member. Because what happened in case otherwise the wife has to give it, and if they don't have, neither she is working nor they had an asset, how she will pay that much of loan? So make sure 200% that in case you have a loan, so at least that has to be a term cover plus you're taking care of your all the goals. Make a contingency plan for 6 months, very, very important. Which this is the last but not the least, when you make sure that money works for you and you do what is passionate about yourself, is to make sure that start early, take a long term approach, make your goals diversified, and educate on a different topics. So these are my takeaways for the 3 things which I keep talking about, that start early, discipline. There's nothing wrong if you are not early. Any day when you start is a good day. Investment always goal based. Have a security for the family because very close to us, life cover, medical and debt cover. Have the investment for yourself. By the way, I always do for me, and I keep telling everybody as a woman and all, please make sure that all, you don't have to wait somebody to treat you. You treat yourself when you're happy and when you're sad. So please do that. That is the best way you can make yourself happy. With this, I conclude, and I have any question and answer, I'll be happy to do that. Yes, Ashok, you can answer. Ask
Thank you
questions.
so much, ma'am. We have one question which is in chat box, so I will read it out. The question is how much to invest in NPS?
How much to invest in NPS? See, NPS is good as long as you are taking an old regime because you get the tax benefit. Okay. So in case you are not having the tax benefit, I normally prefer to have somewhere else. But NPS is 50,000 is the minimum we can do. If your employer is also been linked to NPS, you can take 10% of the basic. I have been doing both. That's the best person as a tax benefit perspective. Thank you,
ma'am. Mr.
Sangeeta, and
Ashok
thank
raised
you
hand.
others.
Can I allow him to talk?
So I'll just look the chat. Yeah, the best part of investment in SIP, you can start with the 1000. There is no much difference. That's the another thing I keep telling. You don't have to change your lifestyle. You can easily make sure that you can start with the $1,000 instead of 1 week. You go out, you take care of that. How to create the emergency fund for this? Slowly, you start making an emergency fund through your FDs, or where you will not touch that money. How much you spend in a month into at least 3 to 6 months, where you will not able to do that part of it. I always say it's better to do contingency in FD because in a holidays or something you may not be able to take retrieve the debt funds or the bonds and other things. So it's easier to do the emergency fund by the FDs.